All right, welcome back to the dystopia. My name is DOSTA, and together we are building the utopia. Right now, I would like to respond to the YouTube comments. And straight up, we have one from Ash Pero. So I made a video entirely about an email that Ash sent me. And it was about AI and about how our minds are being intertwined with the robots and how people are losing connection with nature, with each other, with themselves. And he responded with, "Dear DOSTA, very grateful for sharing the email and discussing it here. Love you and love your wisdom and perspectives, not to mention the way in which you share them. Look forward to being in the same physical space with you when that happens again. Namaste emoji." Thank you very much, Ash. I feel very warm feelings for you. So sending love your way. There's also a comment from True Robo, which says, "What's your favorite anime?" And that is Howl's Moving Castle. One of my favorite movies of all time, highly recommended, and at some point in the future I am going to do my top 100 of all-time favorite movies. Another comment that I have received comes from Baba Anana 556, and he says, she says, I'm pretty sure this is a guy, he says, "This guy objectively mogs me, and I'm 6'6" with a 5 out of 10 face. I definitely have more sexual experiences, but most women in NYC will choose this guy over me, and he thinks he's ugly. We're cooked, boys." So this was on the video, Ugly People Unite. Now, bro, first of all, NYC, what a crazy city to live in. That's wild that you live there. That must be so cool. I've heard it's wild. I've never been there. I've been to Reno. I've been to Dallas. I've been to San Francisco. And I've probably done more South America than Central America, but I've never been to NYC. Now, first of all, I don't know what MOGS means. I think that means something about a comparison between you and me, which is not necessary. But cool that you're 6'6". And the thing that really sticks me about your comment is you think you definitely have more sexual experiences than me. Now, don't be too quick. Hold your horses, because you should not assume my sexual experiences, and you should not be too fast to quantify sexual experiences. Now, if you really want to go deep on this, and you really want to know what my experience is, you can listen to my audiobook. I actually wrote an entire book on sexual experiences. The book is called Stoic Experiencing, a synopsis for sex, love, life, and soul. So I put sex first because that's the levels in which we unfold in our consciousness. And that's an entire book based on my sexual experiences, or partly on my sexual experiences. So it's not just about variety of experience, which I have a large variety of, but also depth of experience. And that's not so quick to quantify. Really, if we were being intelligent, we would both sit down, man to man, and we would have a heartfelt conversation about our own sexual experiences, and you would see our differences, and you would see what's the similar and what's honoring of our uniqueness. It's very powerful for men to talk about their sexual experiences. Now, next comment. Let's see what we got. Mr. Man 31760 says, 68 view YouTuber knows what's best for million view YouTubers. Lol. If you knew how it should all go, then you would have 1 million views. This just reeks of jealousy, TBH. YouTubers are under no obligation to care about their audience on a personal level. It's impossible to personally care about that many people, and it's ridiculous to even say lol. Well, Mr. Man 31760, you are gravely mistaken, because those big-time YouTubers are subject to audience capture. They have far more to lose. Small-timer like me has nothing to lose. I have no incentive to say anything other than what I think. And first of all, first and foremost, most importantly, you have made a grave mistake thinking that more views means more depth of clarity or depth of truth or ability to speak or visionary ability. The people who spit the deepest truth bombs, the people who have the biggest visions, the people who have the real clarity of this universe and life and all of what it means, don't even make YouTube videos at all. They're not on the internet running their mouth. They don't even have any views. They wouldn't even involve themselves in these things. These people, in fact, a lot of them are long dead. They died long before you and me were born. Go and check out some heavy sages, some historical figures. Check out some people like Osho or Rumi or Sri Aurobindo or Adyashanti. I think Adyashanti's still alive and he actually does talk on the internet, yeah? You cannot argue that someone like Adyashanti is less truthful because he doesn't have as many views. Now, the reason I attacked the YouTubers is because they need to be cut down to size, yes? They need to be put into proportion, and what they're spouting is not helping. That was the whole point of that video. You completely missed the point of that video. So let me put it back at you that you need to find some truth and you need to find something that is coming from a much deeper level than talking head videos on the internet. If you subscribe and you follow along with what I'm on about, then you'll find that. You'll be able to discover that, because that's where we're headed. Now, next comment comes from Supreme Leader Ren. Thank you very much for this. Supreme Leader Ren, you're becoming a sort of regular person on the channel, so thank you for your engagement. You say, I don't fully understand why they get so angry when religious people disagree with them. But at the end of the day, human history is a cycle of shit flinging. It's sad. Yes, this was when I was talking about Pride Month and we were talking about this attack between left and right and rationalistic and pluralistic emotional spheres. What I would say is that when you understand the different structures of consciousness and how they unfold, you learn not to do the shit flinging. You learn to step back from that and you yourself don't involve yourself in that. Suffer fools gladly, as I have in a chapter on my book, in my book. You're absolutely right that history repeats itself and people get caught up in it, and also that both sides get angry at each other. You're exactly right about that. But the thing is that you and me need to rise above that. We need to understand that each level, each stage needs to stay in its own place and be honored unto itself. To use spiral dynamics as an example, people who are at the blue belief structure values stage, there's always going to be a certain number of them. There's always going to be a certain amount of people that are there and they're going to stay there. Yeah, they're not going to evolve. Same with the rationalistic paradigm, the people who are scientific method thinking and they're always just in that paradigm. They're always going to be there and they're not going to evolve. It's actually very few people that evolve from belief system to rationalistic to pluralistic and beyond to second tier, which is where you and me want to be at. So you just have to find a way to let people be where they are. Let people be their own craziness. Let people have their misunderstanding. Let people suffer their own anger and outrage at the other side. It's for you and me to create an island and to live as beacons and examples of how you don't have to be caught up in that. Now, the other point of that video that I was trying to say is that everyone should be celebrated. Yes, we should be celebrating the full spiral dynamics of blue, orange, green, yellow, and we should be able to accommodate for that. Gay people and straight people, people who have come into their own, people who have found their stride. Celebration is an existential value. Celebration is a full spiral phenomenon. So thank you very much for your comment. Now, from here, I do have my audiobook. It's always going to be there. It's available for free. If you want to take the leap from brain rot content and low consciousness YouTube comment sections, head on over to follow the link in the description of this video where you can listen to my long form audiobook. I've got so many ideas in there. There's something like 50 chapters, 60 chapters. There's stories, there's psychology, there's philosophy, there's meditation techniques, sex and tantra and relationship techniques, so much stuff. I've put everything I know in that book. So go and check it out, and also subscribe to this channel. I'll just see, wait, is there another? I think that's all I've got time for, the comments anyway. So go ahead, do that, and I'll be back very soon with the next episode.